Thank you, thank you. You guys, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
You guys having a good time?
Yeah.
I love not being in hot Texas right now. The weather's fantastic here. I'm Jennifer Bagley. I'm the CEO of CI Web Group. I've got a few team members with me. I have Kathy Marshall with me. She's a VP of Customer Service as well as our training department. Michael Hicklin, VP of Operations. I think we're all in black. And I have Scott Smith, who is our head of our video production department. He's back there with the camera, so make sure if you turn around, use your good side. I appreciate you having me here to the event today, and I'm excited to talk to you about technology. I don't always love it. However, it's a necessary evil. Would you agree? Yeah? So it was weird. When we pulled in, we got to the airport last night and went to go rent the car. And the guy at the front, he said, "Do you want to rent a GPS?" And we kind of laughed and giggled for a minute. We're like, no. Do people do that still? And he was like, well, yeah, absolutely. You know, what if your phone dies? And I was like, well, if my phone dies, I'll have his phone. If his phone dies, I'll have her phone. If her phone dies, I'll have his phone. He was like, well, what if you don't have connectivity? I was like, oh. Well, we have 6 tablets in the car. We've got 4 computers and a satellite phone because the VP of Operations is military. I think we're good. So things have changed, haven't they, regarding technology? Any of you have kids? Yeah? Seen a toddler with an iPhone? Do they make us feel slow? Slightly? Okay. Things have absolutely changed. All of this technology stuff, people want to refer to it as social media or Facebook or tweets and so forth. Really all it is a new communication device. That's it. It's no different than a phone. It's no different than email. Has anyone ever had a conversation with a teenager regarding different types of email or different types of communication? You guys get in those technology conversations? I got in one with our teenager one time. I think he was like 13 at the time. And he overheard a conference call and somebody said Hotmail. And he was like, what is Hotmail? I was like, well, that's email. He was like, well, what kind of emails are there? I was like, okay, well, there's Gmail. He was like, okay, I've heard of that. And he was like, Yahoo? And he was like, I thought that was for dead people. Literally, we have a whole group of teenagers that don't use email. They don't use email to communicate. Those teenagers are our future buyers. Agree? Those teenagers are our future employees, our employers, or our competitors. That actually scares me. It actually makes me nervous. We have a whole audience of people, literally the teens, that in a matter of 30 days decided they're going to use an entirely different communication device, and guess what? Facebook became the device for old people, and they got off of it in 30 days. Imagine having an entire audience of potential prospects, competitors, whatever it is, that decided not to use a phone tomorrow. And by the way, whatever they switch to, you have to figure out how to use that too. Is that scary? It literally used to be where I would stand in front of an audience and I would talk about the changes in technology, and I would say, if you're still operating your business the same way you were 2 years ago, you may not be in business 5 years from now. Does that resonate? We have to think about how we communicate with people, how we make information available, how we allow people to communicate back and forth with us. And there's a lot to learn. Right now we're in a position where we're trying to catch up. Most young ones, I'll say between probably 14 and 25, currently have a database that is larger than 5, 10, 15 different companies that have been in business for 20 years. They can access like this. How many of you have a great database? Everybody that's possibly ever asked for a slip reservation, possibly they want to be a tenant, they want to use haul out services, they want to do maintenance, and you kept all those records. Email addresses. 1. Whew, this is a tough crowd. You're going to hate my presentation. All right. Good night. Okay, so everything we're going to talk about is how to leverage technology to convert time to cash. Every minute, would you agree, every minute counts towards some type of financial impact on your business that you spend? Yes? Every minute. So if we can figure out how to leverage technology to convert time to cash, is that going to help your bottom line? All right, good. Well, we'll stick with the money route since we don't collect data. I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is our little 12-step roadmap to accelerate results. I put a handful of things on here we need to pay attention to. Number one is strategy. It is very difficult to find strategic advice when it comes to web search, social, mobile, pay-per-click, internet, advertising. Would you agree? It's difficult. It requires almost you to be a subject matter expert in the industry to be able to validate if who you're talking to is a good advisor. Not possible, right? It's kind of like me hiring an air conditioning company. I don't know what to ask. Filters? Am I going to be hot? Am I going to be cold? I don't know anything else, right? I'm not a subject matter expert. So the first and foremost, most important thing you need to have, some kind of intermediary. Somebody who's a strategic expert who understands your business and who understands the digital marketing world. And they're an expert in that area. We have to have that relationship. Next, content. Who's seen Bruce Almighty? The movie? Okay. Kind of he was in a warehouse like this. And do you remember when he came in and God was in there and he had a file cabinet? And he said, anything you've ever thought, said, done is in that drawer. You remember that part? Yeah. Okay, so think of that, that's Google, right? You ask Google a question, which is simply a handful of words, and Google spits out a drawer that flies clear across this entire room. And it might have 300,000 pages in it, 2 million pages in it, 250 million pages in it, and so forth. In order for you to be found in that drawer, you have to have a page on your website that has exactly what they were looking for. It's a filing system. Are you familiar with blogs? Okay. Okay, so, all right. So how do I put this? In a website environment, you have a website that's like this, static. Pretty pictures, doesn't do anything, doesn't move, doesn't change, and so forth. And you might have a website that says home, about us, our services, contact us, FAQ. If you were searching for, how many of you have liverboards? Okay, so if you were searching for liverboards, if you were searching for 42-foot boat slip, do you have one available? Do you believe consumers are Googling for a 42-foot boat slip in Gig Harbor, Seattle, wherever it is? Yes? On your website, do you have a singular page that outlines each slip by size? So we have to think about this. If we just have a page that says slip rentals or moorage, and somebody's looking for 42-foot slip rental in, or 42-foot boat moorage in, and they have a location, is the page that just says services or moorage or slips going to be found? Probably not. Okay, most likely it's not going to. So the way we organize our websites needs to change. Static websites are just that, they're static. A blog is permanent and it's forever. So think about this. In your business, how many times do you pick up the phone or somebody pick up the phone and you answer the same question over and over and over and over? Raise your hand. Groundhog's Day, okay? Here's the difference. When it comes down to digital marketing, a lot of times what I hear from people is they say, well, I can't do all that because I don't have enough time. Have you said that? Okay, I don't have enough time, but I'm going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, like Groundhog's Day is an oxymoron. We have to have a coming to Jesus meeting with ourselves. Okay, so your website's a big deal because technically, we started the presentation off with, is your minute, does it have a dollar amount attached to it? So when we spend our minutes repeating the same information continuously over and over and over, only to those people who happen to find us, if we have the right content on our website or it was a referral, do we need to change what we're doing to get a different result? Yes? Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about websites, also branding, obviously visual appearance, how your website is your best presentation. If you had a salesperson or somebody that wanted to secure new business and they went out and did a presentation for you, What advice would you give them? What advice would you give them? You want them to what? You don't care? I'm just kidding. Whatever, get the business, get a check. No, I'm just kidding.
We just haven't had as much coffee as you yet. We're hearing.
I got lectured to talk slow. Is it working? He came up and whispered in my ear and he was like, slow down.
So I already missed something that you finished. You asked if we knew about blogs. You said something about blogs being permanent, and then you went. So I don't know. Do we finish that and I missed it?
Kind of. We're coming back to that too. We'll stay in this area. So blogs are dynamic and they're forever. Every question you get asked technically can be digitized, put inside a blog in the form of text, text and pictures, text, pictures, and what else?
Links.
Video. So look back there at that camera. Think about this. I could fly out here, 4 team members. Of course, we're staying for like 7 days because I have to make it fun and work. And I could just come and speak in this room and leave Scott at home. What do I have from this event if I spend 1 hour today, 1 hour tomorrow, 5 days away from home? What do I have?
Memories.
I have what?
Memories.
I have memories. Okay, that'll work. I have an expense, right? So if I take this hour, do you think I have to repeat this stuff all the time? No. Technically I do. However, I won't leave home without that device and that man, because I'm going to take this hour, I'm going to digitize it, I'm going to upload it to YouTube, I'm going to turn this 1 hour into 10 or 20 different blog posts, upload them to my website, spit them out to social media accounts. In fact, I'm going to schedule it, I'm going to automate it so each one comes out every 75 days on our Facebook page that's for Marinas and Ports. And I'm going to walk away. And now what does this hour do for me?
24/7.
24/7. Does it get stronger over time? Yeah. Think about a YouTube video. The longer a YouTube video is out there, what happens?
More views.
More views.
The more views.
More people talking about it.
Am I leveraging technology to convert my time to cash? Yes? Absolutely. I used to speak like 5 times a week. It was crazy. I hate heels that much. Okay, so I used to have to do that. Now I can handpick things because I have hundreds, if not thousands of assets that are out there working for me while I do what?
Relax.
Chill, margarita, beach, whatever that looks like, okay? Because you want to build these digital assets, but you need a place to put them. Now, all websites and blogs are not created equal. When it comes to, we're not even going to go through the presentation. When it comes to websites and blogs, has anybody ever hired I'm going to call it a triple F. Anyone want to guess what they are? First F. It's not that. Friends. Second F. Family. Third F. Oh.
Foes.
How about fools? I had some guy say felons, whatever her name is, okay? Absolutely. This is the challenge. In order to develop a website that is going to meet all of Google's requirements, if you could imagine, this, you don't even want to hear the requirements. There's hundreds. You have to have a developer. A developer is a coder. Anybody know one? A coder? They sit behind a green screen, black screen, green text. It looks like the Matrix. They don't have a lot of friends. This is on video. I hate recording some things I say because it's the truth, but they drink Red Bull, possibly listen to techno music. Their idea of a Friday night out is probably a game on IRC. Who can shoot up who? Okay, that's that personality style. How many of you have heard of SEO, search engine optimization?
I get a lot of emails about that.
I'm sure you do. They're from overseas and say no. Okay, so absolutely, yes, absolutely. From somebody's Gmail account, SEO services@gmail.com. Yeah, no. Okay, so search engine optimization is a sequence of different events that allow us to take a website and every individual page, put it into the right drawer. So we have to give it all the labels, just like a filing cabinet. Put it into the right drawer so that when somebody is searching, it's in that drawer. Now, if there is 300,000 pages in that drawer, and you guys can test this, go to Google and type in what it is you want to be found for. In the top left corner, it's going to say out of X number of 1,000 or 100,000 or million pages. So just because you have the right page on your site doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go into the right drawer. An SEO engineer, and that's their personality style. Anybody know any engineers? Yeah. Okay. Anybody in here an engineer before I talk bad about you? Yeah. Okay. Are you a decision maker? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. I'm just kidding. So, engineers' personality styles, I have to revise this, are methodical thinkers. They're very analytical. It may take them a little bit longer to come to a conclusion because there's so much data to analyze. Would you agree? They're definitely not going to wake up and go, I have an idea. All right, go, team, right? It's not their style. No? No, it actually just hurt his insides that I mentioned that.
I'm going to object to generalization because you can't already call people.
Fair. An SEO engineer, their thought process is very different. They definitely are not going to design this beautiful, very pretty website. It's not their style. You also have to have somebody who is a designer. Designers are creative. Their closet, their wardrobe is probably much larger. They probably do different activities. A designer is very, very creative. Would you agree that somebody that can design and make something pretty is a different personality style than a coder or an engineer? For the most part, okay? Then you have to have somebody that's social media expert. I can't tell. Okay, so we'll leave that alone. They're fun, they're friends with everybody, making friends, talking, playing, doing anything that you possibly consider as unproductive, especially for an engineer, is probably what they do, okay? You have to have a content writer. Can everybody in here write perfect content? No? Edit it, make sure the copy's right, and so forth? Okay, some can, some can't. And then you have to have a strategist that has all of those people in a room, lets them fight over what's important, kind of like putting your CPA, your financial planner, and your attorney in a room. Ooh, okay? It's an argument. So you also have to have somebody with a business mindset who is focused on growth that can put these people in the right positions in the right place, prioritize what's important. Make sense? Okay. Now, every website's not created equal because most of the time people have them built by the triple Fs. They cannot. If you find somebody that has all of those personality styles in one body, refer them to me, we will pay them a ton of money and they will be hired. Okay? Because it normally doesn't happen that way. It normally doesn't come in that form, shape, or size as far as a person. Make sense? Okay. All right, now, as far as marketing goes, anything you can do to digitize information, work, operational processes, customer service, things that you have to address, is going to free you up what?
Time.
Which is going to help you make more what? Cash. Perfect. So that's really what this is about. It's a bottom line adjustment. The challenge with most advertising and marketing people is they're not growth experts or they're not operational experts. So your technology, as far as internet marketing goes, needs to cover two primary focal points. One is create operational efficiencies. Two is sales and marketing. This can be retention of existing customers, acquisition of new customers. But both of those focal points need to be top priority when it comes down to building and designing a website that's going to work. You have two people to please. One is a robot called what? Google. One is a robot called Google that is a mathematical evaluation of your website that determines Is it built properly? Does it meet all my requirements? Is it popular? Is it trusted by others? That is going to take your website or that page on your website and move it from the back of the drawer to where?
To the front.
To the front of the drawer. We have to make sure that it's popular, which is why social media becomes something that is a necessary evil as well. How many of you are on Facebook personally? How many of you don't believe in Facebook? All right. So,
You said that's for old people already.
right.
Should we bother getting on Facebook or not?
So I'm going to say yes for now. So here's an interesting, okay, so one day I was on an airplane. I sat down next to this guy, and he was like bad mood grumpy. Grumpy, grumpy, grumpy. Like, I knew it was probably the majority of his personality style. It wasn't the day. And we started talking, and the pilot got on, and he said, okay, the plane's going to be late. So I sent a quick text message to who was watching my son, and I was like, okay, going to be late. And he was like, why don't you just call? So I wanted to text. I don't know. If they're busy, they don't answer, then it's a long process, right? He was like, I was like, you don't text? I said, no. Like, okay. Do you have any kids? He's like, yeah, I have a daughter and a son, but I don't talk to him very much. They're busy. Like, oh. Do you have any grandkids? And he was like, oh yeah, I have a grandson and his name. He went through and he told me everything. He plays soccer and where he goes to school, and he was so excited. All of a sudden I saw a nice guy. Cool. Okay, we're making progress. So I was like, okay, well, do you have his phone number? He said, yeah. I was like, great, give me your phone. This guy's looking at me like, I'm gonna throw this woman out the window. You out your mind? So he hands me his phone with hesitance. I grab his phone, pull up the kid's name, shoot a quick message. All I said was, hey, this is Gramps, hope you're doing well. Click. He's looking at me crazy. 2 seconds later, phone goes ding. He was like, what is that? I was like, probably your grandson. You don't have a lot of contacts in here. So as soon as we picked up the phone, we looked at it and it said, dude, Gramps, didn't know you could text. So cool, love you. The guy almost started crying. So it was really cool. So there's these communication devices. Facebook is very, very, very relevant. It's the #2 website in the world. So you have Google, you have Facebook, you have YouTube, and then you have some bad sites I can't mention that are from a popularity standpoint. So it's very, very relevant. The bottom line is, when it comes to choosing what kind of communication devices that you use, is you have to meet people where they are. And your personal opinion has probably zero relevance. That's the hard part. With all marketing, your personal habits and opinion probably has zero relevance. So let's check in here. How many of you carry an iPhone? Raise your hand. How many of you carry an Android? Yeah. Android people always do that. They're like, right on. Okay, they always do that. How many of you carry a BlackBerry? For dead people or financial planners. Okay. Okay. All right. How many of you would rather watch a video than read an article? Raise your hand and look around. Okay, raise them high. How many of you would rather read the article than watch a video? Raise your hand and look around. Okay. How many of you would rather skim through headlines than read an article? Raise your hand and look around. Welcome to Twitter. Okay. This is the bottom line. Everyone's different. And as long as you are in business and trying to sell to somebody different than yourself, you have to change your thinking in order to change your, I guess,
Bottom line.
results. Absolutely, we have to. My background, so I'll tell you a little bit about, I grew up on houseboats. My mom and dad live in Lake Union on a 3-story paddle wheeler. I love it. We stay the summers on our houseboat in Seattle as well. My aunt and uncle and my cousins all sell boats, yachts. Technically, I drive or serve the alcohol. One of the two is my role. Okay, so those are, from a background standpoint, I've lived in that environment. Now, for a technology environment, Operations matter first. I was vice president of global logistics and supply chain for major retailers, and I've spent the majority of my career in the operations and logistics environment, which is very, very important. How many of you have sat down with somebody selling you advertising? Yeah? Fun experience? They're good salespeople, though. They're good salespeople. I've never been a salesperson. Educator, yes. Salesperson, no. Think about the word advertising versus marketing. And then we'll go into inbound versus outbound. Advertising. How many of you, when you get home, run out to your mailbox and you're excited to get your mail? Anyone? Okay. Fantastic. Are you shoppers? Ladies, you go for the catalogs. I love your shawl. Okay. So, how many of you actually read the junk mail? Okay. It's always 1% of the room. You're good. Do you shop on QS? Okay. Let's see. Late night TV shopping? All right, how many of you in the last 12 months, okay, so here's the kicker. You were not an existing customer. So if you already shop at Nordstrom and they send you a catalog, this does not count, all right? You're not an existing client. How many of you have made a purchase because of the following? A TV ad, radio ad, brochure, door hanger, go ahead and keep them up. Door hanger, flyer, okay, I'm gonna eliminate anything related to lawn care services or restaurant coupons. Put your hands down if that was it. Okay, got it, we're back to our 1%. All right. How many of you have went to Google and you've searched for something? So we have less for everybody that can't see, we had 2 people, well we had 6 people raise their hands. When I said restaurant coupons, everybody went down but 2. What did you buy? And from what?
Oh, good Lord.
They're just participants. They're like me. Me.
It was shoes.
Shoes. Fantastic. I told you they were shoppers. No. What got you to purchase shoes? Was it a mailer or a flyer or what was it? Okay, so a mailer, the only way you get on a mailer is either they're buying a list or you're an existing client. You weren't an existing client? Okay, great. And that's all you bought in 12 months off any of those advertising vehicles?
Oh, God, probably more, but that's the last thing that I got.
Perfect. So if I go to school right now to learn how to market my business, guess what they teach you to do?
Social media.
Kind of. They teach you everything that I just showed you that you as consumers don't buy from. How many of you have spent money to market or advertise your business on any or one of those mediums? Raise your hand. You can feel bad, just raise it and feel bad. It's okay. So this is a great part. I don't care about advertising salespeople or all their numbers or stats or graphs or percents or any of that. What I care about is you. I would rather listen to a group of soccer moms tell me how they buy, how they find, how they make decisions, than listen to an advertising and marketing company any day, hands down. Every audience I speak to around the nation has the same stats. All of your traditional media and advertising, I ask everybody to raise their hand, less than 1% of the room. This year, last year it was slightly higher, it was about 3%. The year before that it was about 10%. Think about the way this is changing. How many of you have made a purchase because you went to Google, you did a search, and you found a new business, product, or service and you made a purchase? More than 1 in a year, more than 2, more than 3, more than 4. Fine, done. How do we need to leverage our dollars and our time in order to grow our business? Yes?
On Google.
Okay, now, how many of you have done the exact same thing? You've made a purchase in the last 12 months because you got a referral to a new business, product, or service. How many of you Googled them first? These are your numbers, okay? Marketing stems down to 2 things. A, people still refer. Where they refer is different. Many referrals are happening on social media sites now. Are you there? People don't have very much time. They need instant, quick access to information. You agree? If you can't find it, they're out. Say that again.
Especially restaurants.
Absolutely. Every business. Airline, every business. I know when I get on my family's boats and we're going out cruising, guess what I do? Google, where are we gonna go? What are we gonna do? What's around there? What restaurants are around there? What amenities do they have? What activities do they have? What local parks? What's the fishing like? Yes? We have to make sure every piece of information you take in when you're talking to a prospect, a consumer, a customer, your next thought is, I've heard this before, I'm gonna digitize it. I'm gonna make it available to anyone else who has the same question. First, I've heard this question before. Second, I'm gonna make it available to anybody who hasn't seen it. Or anybody else who's not here with me right here. Fair? Scary? No? All right. Pay-per-click. Anybody go to Google? We'll address this real quick. Anybody go to Google, you search for something, and there is 3 or 2 or 1 advertisements on the very top, and there's a handful of them on the side. Anybody ever click on those? 1. 2. Accident? Okay. Anybody been tried? Has anyone tried to sell you pay-per-click services? Pay-per-click, PPC, Google advertising. You get an automated phone call that says, I work for Google, I guarantee you position #1 on Google. Yeah, that's a lie. Okay? Google will not call you, but people will say that they do. So pay-per-click or PPC or Google AdWords is all the same thing. It is the ad banners at the top, the ad banners on the side, and less than 1% of every audience that I talk to says that they click on it, and normally when I ask them when and why, they say, because it costs my competitor $4 a pop. Okay. So, somebody tries to sell you pay-per-click advertising, what do we say? No. Where's my, oh, you have it, okay. How about, keep going, one more. Okay, let's stop here for a second. SEO stems from 3 things. Well, let me start with the foundation of SEO, or search engine optimization, which all it means is being page what? #1, position what? On what? Google. Fantastic. Does Yahoo matter? Nope. Does Bing matter? Nope. Okay, good. Page 1, position 1, for what?
Your services.
Your services, and for any question your prospects, customers, and consumers are searching for in your area. SEO stems from 3 things, outside of having a website that's properly built and so forth. One is, are you relevant? So if I have a page that says FAQ, does anybody Google for FAQ? If I take an FAQ page and I drop it inside a giant filing system and I tell you, I need to know haul out services. If you have haul out services, are you going to be able to go to a file cabinet and find it? There's no way, because it's content deep inside the page. So if you have maintenance, haul out services, if you do deck restoration, whatever services you provide, 1 page per thought. 1 page per thought. All right, so relevant is the labeling of the page. The labeling of the page on your website. Is it relevant to what somebody's looking for? No one's going to go to Google and search for our services. No one's going to go to Google and search for FAQs. So it needs to be relevant. The next is, are you current? The difference between a static website, i.e. brochure, and a blog is currency. It's new. You post new content. So when you wake up, you answer the phone. You wake up, you go to work on all that other stuff. Then you answer the phone, you get asked the question you've heard before. What's your first thought? I've heard this before. Oh, I love that. Not again. Okay? The next thing is digitize it and put it where other people can find it. That's going to keep you current. And it's going to put you in front of other people who have the same questions that you are not currently in front of. Next is, are you trusted? Okay, welcome to social media, backlinking, and a whole bunch of other garbage. Trusted is third-party validation of your website and the interior pages via what's called a backlink, which means we are launching a new website called marinasimports.com. Okay, you guys are familiar with marinas.com. Okay, it's like that on steroids, and it's pretty. Okay, I know you've seen that. Okay, so if I was to put a listing on marinasimports.com and it has a link to your website, in Google's eyes, that is one website giving a thumbs up to yours. The more thumbs up, backlinks, you have from third-party websites, including social media sites, other websites, the more Google what's you?
Trust you.
Trust you. Perfect. Every ounce of time that I spend doing these things, how long is it going to last for my business? Creating blog posts, creating video, adding content, adding a new page properly optimized for Google. How long is it going to last? Forever. It is going to get stronger year over year over year. I want you to think about leveraged assets. If I pay you $1,000 to send this out to all your residents, all your tenants, how long does this last me?
1 day.
Hopefully they open their junk mail. Okay? Right? So if I'm trying to reach that audience, if I take this page and I put it in a digital space with all the right content, it's labeled properly, how long does it last me? Forever. Over time in our businesses, we are leveraging technology to create more minutes, which converts to high leverage activities that create more cash. Making sense?
A little bit.
All right, fantastic. Okay, let's see here. How am I on time?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. Do you guys want to use this time for questions? Because I can just keep talking till tomorrow. Okay, shoot.
When you talk about labeling your page, you know, I mean, I took a class on web design, built a web page.
When did you take that class?
15 years ago.
Okay, so I need you to delete. Okay.
I get it. When you talk about labeling your page, I mean, your page heading the bed and breakfast, or
Yep.
then you have meta tags, and is there a hidden?
Okay, so anything that is 15 years ago, we were hiding everything and tricking the heck out of Google, and it was fun, right? We did thousands of keywords on a page. We even colored them the same color as the page so you couldn't see that they were there. Okay, Google is really smart now. We can't trick Google anymore, so yeah, no. Now, this is the easiest way to have this done properly. How many of you know what your website was built in? Is it a content management system, preferably WordPress? Anybody have WordPress website? Okay, as long as the installation of your WordPress has happened within last 12 to 24 months, and that you are not using a $35 free theme built by Vladimir from Russia who has a bunch of bad script in it that's hurting you. Those two things. WordPress is the #1 content management system on the planet, integrated with pages, i.e. static, posts, blog, post categories, post tags. These are all visible to Google if used properly. So when you're creating a page, your developer should make sure that your page title is automatically coded to what's called an H1 tag. It's a heading tag. Inside your content on the page, here's the math. Your content needs to be a minimum of 500 words per page. You need to use the primary key phrase in the title and once every 100 words in the content. 5 times minimum.
When you said title, though, it still has to be the title.
If you have WordPress, it's going to be the title at the top. Your title is going to create what's called your permalink. Ugh, I'm a total nerd. Can you go to the page that the Plano lawyer attorney one is on? Okay, I'm gonna show you this. Your page title is going to create the link. So you guys have Googled, you found a website, and you've seen the link for the website is www.marinas.com/gig harbor marina with dashes, right? That's a permalink. Google's looking at that file. If that page said www.marinasimports.com/page ID equals 6, what is that going to do? Does Google know what that is? Okay, so So go back to the filing system. What was the movie? Bruce Almighty. Go back to that file drawer and think about if I put a piece of paper in there that says page ID 6, and you put it in there, and I say you go find Gig Harbor Marina. Done. It's no go. Okay? That's too small. That's not going to help. Okay. So inside WordPress, if you install or have installed a plugin called Yoast SEO, it is going to give you your meta title, which is what displays at the very top. If you go to Google, you have 3 pieces of things that show. You do a search, you're going to have a heading, you're going to have a link, and you're going to have a tiny little description. And you're going to have 10 of them on the first page. You've seen that, yes? Now you're going to pay more closer attention to it because your reticular activator is going to make you see this. All right, so that's what Google is looking for. And what you're going to see when you go Google, so when you guys get on break, go to Google on your phones, put in a search, and look and see that the bolded words in the page title, permalink, which is the link, everything the extension pass.com, and in the description, it's going to highlight the words that you searched for, which means if those words are not in the title and the link and the description and not highly dense or densely used in the content, they're not going to show up. Make sense? Okay. And you guys don't have to do this by yourself. So okay, I'm going to have more questions. You guys think more questions. Will you go to it's towards the end, and it's everything we're going to do for them. Perfect. Okay, so bless you. I know this is a lot of information. So 2 things. We're going to do a workshop tomorrow. How many of you are staying till tomorrow? All right. Hands-on. It's not going to be a PowerPoint. Hey, PowerPoints. We're going to get into Google. We're going to do some searches. We're going to look at some websites. We're going to go through, and actually anybody that volunteers their website will go do a review on your site. Okay, so you're going to learn more then versus conceptual here. Second thing, anyone who is interested, this is what everybody in the audience gets. Number 1, a free website analysis, which is like 160 something report that we'll pull for you. That's going to show you everything that's wrong, everything that's right, so we can focus on doing more of what's right. Second, you're going to get a local listings report. You're familiar with local listings. So there are tons of sites. You guys are familiar with Yellow Pages, right? Anybody did Yellow Pages contact you and try and sell you a $2,500 a month cake? No. How many of you have checked Yellow Pages to find something you need? Okay, so this is, a lot of times I'll hear people, I'll say, why did you buy a Yellow? You're spending $2,500 a month. And they're like, well, Joe did, and he's successful. But if I go ask Joe how many leads he gets from Yellow Pages, A, he doesn't have anything in place to even be able to track that. B, what a hunch, no. And I can ask every audience, do you use Yellow Pages to find products and services? And they're going to say no. Okay, so we'll do a local listings report. Yellow Pages is one. City Search is one. What Chamber of Commerce websites, Google Plus, Google Business Listings. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different local listings that scrape websites to find your business. They put your business on their site without you advertising or paying them. Oftentimes they will put a wrong phone number or wrong information. Why? What's going to happen? A customer is going to call you. They're going to say, I found you online. The phone number's wrong. You're going to figure out what site it goes to. You're going to call them up. You're going to say, Yodel, Yelp, whatever it is. My information's wrong. Fix it. You're going to say, no problem. $500 a month. $2,500 down. Okay, so you have to pay attention to that. I have found businesses that were actually listed as closed permanently, out of business on local listings. It's worthwhile to at least get a report so you know where you stand. All right, so you'll get a free report on 60 local listing sites. Also, when we launched the Marinas and Ports website, all of you get free lifetime membership access to that. You can list your business, you can list different services, you can post, you can add events, you can blog, you can do anything, and you can learn from it. Okay. Next, free access to our digital marketing training program. We have an online training program. It's all webinars. It's easy. I'm not going to say I talk slower. However, you can hit pause and rewind. Rewind. All right, and that's 12steproadmap.com. You guys all have that. In addition to that, you have an hour of time with me to sit down and go through only your website, your business, your strategy, what are your goals, what do you want to accomplish, and I will help you prioritize what to do to be able to get to them quicker. And we're going to cut out all the garbage and focus on only those high leverage activities that are going to help you reach your goals quicker. Cool? Yes? Okay, so if you're interested in any or all of those, just make sure you get a business card to either Michael or Kathy. There she is, chit-chatting. Good?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, awesome. So our goal is to help. Questions?
So,
Yes.
let's just say 15 years old to 25, because I think that's kind of more relevant, or even 12, but it doesn't matter. I don't think a 12-year-old's buying as much unless mom and dad's paying for it. But if you're saying you were kind of leery about Facebook, what are the
What are the ages?
Well, I mean, what is a 15 to 25-year-old person using if they're not using Facebook?
Oh, Snapchat, Vine, and Snapchat, yeah, which that's a whole nother class if you have teens. We actually have a 16-year-old that's starting a business called undercovermother.com. This is pretty cool. Essentially, if you have a teenager, you don't want to know, or you don't have time, or you don't understand how to go find them on all their social media sites and monitor them, you totally have to cut this out of the video. Okay, you can subscribe to it, and these guys will go locate them, find them, and you can check a list of all the stuff you want to get a notification for. So, porn, drugs, alcohol, right?
What they're looking at.
Yes, and what they post, and you can get notified of anything you should be concerned about, so you don't ever have to log in or find them on Snapchat. And I'm probably going to get bombed by teenagers if they find out. Okay, other questions?
Just a quick one. This has come up recently in the last couple of months for city employees to use any social media that allows other people to comment. That's in violation of Public Records Act. So we're struggling with
Document request and public records.
Yeah, if someone does a public records request for communications, we can't go find those. So now we're being told we can't use anything except something that we can keep a copy of.
Yeah, that's a big conversation, and we have absolutely covered that. The whole documents requests challenges that you have, and blanket social media no-go policies, which is the wrong way to go. That requires sitting down, really having a team that understands all of the settings, privacy settings, what you can do, creating an actual social media policy and implementing it at the city level.
And that's on your city internet or through your city server or whatever.
Yep.
Everybody has smartphones, and you can still do that on your own private stuff.
Yes. The challenge with social media a lot of times as well is I hear that I hear people say, well, we're not going to participate in social media, I don't want to. Just because you're not personally or professionally participating in a social media environment doesn't mean you aren't there. All it means is you're letting the world of consumers, customers, possibly past ticked off employees, whatever that looks like, manage it for you. You're allowing them to create your brand. So we need to take control over that, participate, and change that game. Yes?
You have numbers on the age group of social media and who's using only going electronic. Do you have numbers on? I'm concerned that if we don't do static copy, we're going to lose a market. So I guess I'm trying to find out numbers for people that still are not using any type of electronic messaging.
That's going to be, the challenge is the question is way up here. To actually dive into the question, you have to get into what marketplace, what location, what age group, and we'd have to dive way into a lot of detail. Obviously a rural, very, very rural area that has poor internet service is going to have different numbers than a suburb. So there's a lot that goes into answering that kind of question. That's something we can definitely cover during the strategy session though. Good question. All right. Business cards, yes. If you guys have them, pass them up. Actually, pass them to the end of the table right here on the edge of your table so you guys can, Kathy and Mike can pick those up. Other than that, be ready tomorrow. Drink heavily tonight. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.